Want to hear a story about my great aunt? Great as in she's my grandmother's sister, not great as in a great person, as this story will tell you, she's not. So a few years ago, my aunt was calling my mom on a regular basis to complain about her life. And my mom was telling me everything she said afterward like you would recap a trashy reality show. And her latest complaint was about how she adopted a dog and her husband was mad she did it without telling him first. How inconsiderate of my uncle to be upset that his wife made a life-altering decision without consulting him. I mean, the nerve. He told her the dog was her complete responsibility and he wouldn't help her with it at all. She said that was fine, and she could totally handle taking care of a dog on her own. A phone call 3 weeks later proved that she totally could not. She was upset because her dog was having diarrhea all over the house, and when she took him to the veterinarian said it was her fault. And it was! The dog was sick because instead of giving him dog food, she just fed him leftovers of whatever she was eating. For a dog to be healthy, it needs to eat dog food, not leftover lobster rolls. So after a month of wailing about how it was too hard to be a responsible pet owner, and that her husband was such a prick for making her clean up the dog shit all by herself, my aunt excitedly called my mom, telling her that she found a solution. Oh boy. When she was taking a walk, she noticed a homeless man begging, and she told him that he could live with her if he took care of her dog in exchange for food and housing. This was not a good solution. This was exploiting an extremely vulnerable person, having them act as her live-in servant for the sake of their own survival and masquerading it as an act of charity. My mom, desperately acting as the voice of reason, told her that taking a stranger into your home is, dangerous, and asked what the hell her husband thought, because if he wasn't okay with the dog, he sure as hell wasn't going to be okay with this. And my aunt said that he didn't know yet. The next day, my aunt called to say that when he got home from work, he was livid. They had this huge argument. She was screaming that if he didn't like this, then he should have helped her with the dog. And he was flipping out because who does this? At some point during this mess, my uncle's mother called the house, and the homeless man, trying to be helpful, answered it, leading her to think my aunt was having an affair. Pour one out to my uncle for having to explain to his mom that no, his wife wasn't cheating on him. She just had a man off the street come live with them to take care of her dog because she was too irresponsible to take care of it herself. I think after being told that, his mom might have wished it was an affair. An affair would have been normal. Now, here's where things get really messed up. Yeah, I was surprised it could get worse than this too. My aunt and uncle decided to go on a weekend trip together to work on their marriage, but didn't feel comfortable leaving a stranger alone in their home. Maybe she should have thought about that potential discomfort before she decided to exploit him. Just a thought. So my aunt told him that he needed to go back to living on the street for the weekend, and that if he came back to the yard later, they would let him inside again. Full disclosure, I'm agnostic. I don't really give much thought to the concept of an afterlife. But if there is a hell, doing shit like this is how you get there. This incredibly messed up story ends with my aunt giving my mom one last phone call to say that when they got home from their trip, the homeless man didn't come back. But it was fine because her husband agreed to help take care of the dog now. Most likely terrified of what she would do if he didn't. I hope that man is okay now. Maybe he found an okay living situation. Or maybe he just decided living on the street was better than living with my aunt's cavalcade of bullshit. Or in this case, dog shit. Now, there's gotta be an uplifting way to end this video. Please consider donating to your local homeless shelters.